So the key principle there is well, you're really often working on those three things together, the attention, the engagement, and the simple gesturing. And the key principle there is following the child's natural interest, seeing where the child is excited. Jumping around, you might jump with him. The bottle, you hide the bottle under your hat. You put it on your head. And then he was seeking the teacher out. He came in and leaned into him eventually on his own. And that's the payoff. That's what you're looking for. See, but you can't have engagement without desire. You hold the child against his will. You force the child to look at you in a compliance drill. The juices aren't flowing. But most of the children we find, and we very rarely come across a child who can't get engaged. We may run into problems with higher language skills. We rarely, no matter what the degree of neurologic problem is, we rarely run into a child who we can't sell the world to, can't pull in, into a warm, joyful kind of engagement. Very rarely, particularly when you're willing to do this, hours a day, working with a child, either parents or helpers or team. Let's follow the child's lead, find the pleasure, harness the pleasure, use the pleasure to practice looking, listening, and doing, like with that little girl you saw, the first little girl. Okay, and then treat everything the child does, whether it's dancing, whether it's aimless wandering, as intentional. In other words, whatever the child's doing, take as deliberate and build on it. So don't assume, well, that's perseverative, that's bad, that's aimless, that's bad. Whatever the child is doing is you turn into something intentional. The opening and closing a door, you get stuck behind the door. The rubbing a spot on the floor perseveratively, you get your hand stuck on that spot, the child moves your hand, and you got a cat and mouse game, and you put it back, etc. If the child is a tantruming child, you do it very gradually, very slow motion, and you stop as soon as the child tells you to stop.